Now, I just want to do a little update on the introductory video just to bring it current. And this is January 2010. And just trying to give you an idea, like what I put in YouTube is for just kind of to whet somebody's appetite and get somebody motivated. Maybe they can do some more study. The whole idea behind all these videos and the other items that I've done, it's an estate planning tool that I can pass on to my son. I suspect when I'm done, it's easily going to be over 200 videos for stock market. YouTube, maybe there's going to be 100, and those are limited to 10-minute segments. I've got 170 videos that I've done so far. A lot of these videos are an hour, some are 30 minutes, some 2 hours long. So, I mean, it's got a tremendous amount of more detail. I also have, in terms of exams, I have a basic exam that's 1,700 questions long. How'd you like to give that to your kid and say, what are you doing for the afternoon, son? I'm going to video all the answers on that also to explain that. And between the margin exam, I've got 5 or 6 margin exams because that's an important topic that somebody has to understand. And then I have a really detailed exam on the internal technicals on the gold, which is really the focus. How the whole thing started, I just got the idea that why not take a stock chart, put it on the screen, and get a Canon digital camera and focus on the screen, click record, and just add in the audio, and that's where the whole thing came from. And then I uploaded that to Windows Movie Maker and turned that into a WMV file, and then I just kind of monkeyed around and thought, well, let me make a site at YouTube and I'll see if I can upload, because that would be like an online storage also. But of course, YouTube is limited because of the fact you only have 10 minutes to kind of get done what you want to cover, and a lot of the topics just require so much more than that. Now you'll get to see here that my craziness does not stop at the stock market and studying economic cycles. I can remember as far back as the 1970s when I was at the University of Waterloo trying to, you go by music and there's like 12 songs, 2 of them are good and the rest are a bunch of crap. And even then I was trying with double cassette players to get all the songs I wanted to hear on one blank cassette. And of course today with LimeWire, the ability to download and organize a library is really quite remarkable. And you can see here that I have 17.5 gigabytes of music. It's 5,486 files, and all broken down into 81 different folders between different kinds of music, and triple backed up. That these are things that when you're gone, I'm 59 in September of this year, so maybe I live till 75, who knows. But these are things that these stock market studies and all the charts and everything, these are going to live for 1,000 years. That 10 generations from now, people will be looking and saying, oh, that crazy old guy actually organized all that stuff. And that was a large part of the motivation to do this also. Now, what I do here with the articles, when I come across really good articles, like I was explaining on the nutrition assignment that I gave, even though I doubt very many people will do it, but hey, why not? That even though it shows here 400 articles in 16 different folders, I have a lot of organizing still to do in that. There's probably 1,500 articles here, because if you get articles on gold, well then you just keep making your gold article file bigger and bigger and bigger. This is a phenomenal collection. The internet has got some incredibly bright people that post fantastic articles, and I am a voracious reader. I will read anything I can get my hands on. And I always had a pretty good recall memory, which is why I used to love when I was a teacher. You go and do an exam and you walk out of the exam room, you can basically recall the entire exam. And I was a hockey card nut when I was a kid, just memorizing goals, assists, height, weight, what team somebody played for, and on and on. So it was kind of just an offshoot of that. So those articles are quite good. I could actually take my son for a year and just get him to study all the things that I have created and collected, and it would be an incredibly productive and busy year without any doubt. This was the biggest little project in creating this stock market study. This is 9 years now that I'm kind of getting down to the end now, where the things that of course I'm always going to do more while I'm around on the planet, but in retrospect, if I was to stop now, there's enough there that the roadmap would be fairly clear as far as the commodity cycles, Dow cycles, and on and on. But this was really the interesting one that got me started in all this. Back in 2000, I started downloading charts. You know, where you would just do a right click on the mouse and you save a chart. You don't know why, and just you do it, and before you know it, you've got a whole bunch. And about a year and a half ago, I said, let me just have a look at this chart file, and because, you know, you're talking to a friend and they're talking about a chart, and so I have that chart, but then you look in the file and you've got like 8,000 charts. No, where is it? So I kind of vacillated back and forth. Just imagine for a moment, you've got right here 11,000 charts, and I actually have about 11,005 now. I've got several hundred I haven't put into the proper folders, and it's broken into 285 different categories. And just imagine you've got 10,000 charts, to keep it simple, and now you have to take every single chart. Now sometimes one chart might go in 2 or 3 different folders, because it might be relevant based on a technical formation or a cycle or a bull market or a bear market, and I had to go through that one by one by one. The only thing that really motivated me was the fact that I could say that, okay, when it's done, it's done. I don't have to do it again. So, you know, you triple back up in case there's a crash or something else happens. But it's kind of funny, you know, when you're carrying your laptop around, if a friend says something about, oh, US dollars going up, and I say, really? Because I've got all the charts going back to like forever. And so when somebody wants to talk about stock market, they really better know what they're talking about, because I just have everything you can imagine that I've collected on this topic. This was something that I made a few months ago, and basically I've been doing this project. It was a 9-year project, and I created a blog site, and that's there in YouTube, the address for the blog site, where I would just post articles and videos, and a lot of it was just learning how to do it. And at that point I had 120 videos. I'm at 170 now. I've got the site in YouTube. Charts is around 11,500 now. The exam, when I take into account the 1700 question exam on stock market and economics, and the margin exam, I think there's 5 or 6 of those, and then I've got one other exam that deals with the internal technicals on the gold cycles. It's somewhere around 2,300 questions. This is the funny one. There are a few sites, and I'm going to have I think there's a video on YouTube on the sites that I follow all the time. There's like 5 or 6, and I read every article that gets posted there. It's somewhere around 27,000 articles that I have read. And the first 5 years, I was watching CNBC and ROB TV, now BNN, 7-8 hours a day. And days when I didn't watch, that on their websites you can still see the. So that was about 15,000 articles. And somewhere around 1,500 articles that I've got now, and like every day, you know, when I come across a good article, then, you know, I want to download that and save it, especially articles that focus on the economics and the cycles of what happened in past cycles, because you can get a sense of how these cycles are going to evolve. And got a really fantastic stock market library. that one day I just envision that I'm going to have one room and I'm going to put all the different things that I created in that room, and anyone can just go there and basically live there. If they got food and if they got a motivation to study, they'll never leave the room for a year.